Earlier today, I was watching a podcast with Dan Mace. If you don't remember who Dan Mace is, he did a ton of videos with Casey Neistat in like 2018, I think. Dude is an amazing filmmaker, editor, the whole nine. And in any event, in the interview, he coined a very specific phrase.
Interested is interesting. Remember the first ever viral video? I'm pretty sure, well, for me, the first ever viral video that I saw was the double rainbow. Everybody's seen a double rainbow. Yeah. That video went viral because of the man's reaction to the double rainbow. He was enthusiastic about the rainbow. Interested is interesting. And that got me thinking, like, what am I interested in at this current stage in my life? I'm interested in this. It's the Insta360 Go3. It's been out for like a year. I've never made a full video because, to be honest, I've only had it for the last like 5 or 6 months. But this is, we're gonna talk about it. I love this camera so much. I'm gonna tell you why.
I heard man when I chat and chit. I come through like what's good, East Week City split. Man better breathe and sprint. It's long if I choose to fight it down in his script. X is a Liverpool 4-4 and this, so make sure it's X that you wanna value it. Oh, make a big man turn to a kid. Shut up, scope and I'll flat top beats. Need to see X's with your eyes closed, don't move past girls behind your eyelid. Bars and flows, check out the mix shot. Told them man got handle the fix plot.
Full disclosure right up front, this is not a scripted video. It may be kind of all over the shop. I may forget some things and I may add some random things, but again, I had the idea for this video this morning, so I'm just sort of, we're making it up as we go along. First up, we're just gonna like rapid fire some known facts about the camera, and then I wanna get into sort of my use case, how I use this camera to make videos. I should have looked this up before I started filming the video. Let's see here. Okay. Glad I looked that up. I was about to get that wrong. So as you can tell, it looks like a traditional action camera, but the unique part is it actually separates. This is the physical camera, and then they call this the action pod. The action pod has a screen on the back that's a touch screen. It also flips up like that, so you can see what you're doing if you're filming like this. But you can also use this for remote monitoring. You can set this camera up on something, like I could attach it right there to my microphone stand. I am remotely monitoring the camera from 3 or 4 feet away. The resolution of this camera in the standard video mode is 2.7K. If you go to the freeform, I think it's free frame. If you go to the free frame mode, the highest you can go is 1440p, but I mean, that's still plenty high. The frame rates in the standard video mode, again, in 2.7K, it goes up to 30 frames a second. And then if you go to 1440 or 1080, it goes up to 50 frames per second. And then again, you get those same frame rates if you film in the free frame mode. I'm not entirely sure what the battery statistics on this camera actually are, but what I can tell you is I did take this camera one time, hook it up to a chest mount, hit record, and I just rolled until the battery ran out, and the battery on the teeny tiny little camera itself was about 45 minutes, and I think the action pod charges it like 2 or 3 more times. I'm gonna call it there for statistics and facts because, to be honest, it can get really boring really quickly. And also, I don't know, this is super impromptu. I did not look up a ton of statistics about this camera, but if you wanna watch a video that goes way more in depth and is probably a better example of what this camera can do, Jesse Driftwood, a friend of mine, I will link his video up here. He does a much better job of explaining why you should look into this camera. But in the meantime, I want to talk about my use cases, how I use this camera, and why I genuinely get excited any opportunity I find to use this camera. So in the box with the camera is a ton of like mounting options and accessories, and I get use out of all of these. Just really quickly, there's this like medallion thing that you put underneath your shirt and then you magnet the camera to it. There's this little jobby which has a 1/4-20 thread on the underside, and you take the camera and just clip it on like that, and it doesn't come off unless you push the buttons to let it off. That's very useful. If you want to use this, there's a little sticky mount thing that comes with it as well that you can like take this and stick it to stuff like traditional action camera would be. You can also take it and mount it to their invisible selfie stick. Just a note, the invisible selfie stick is not invisible with this camera. I had to learn that the hard way, but yeah, not invisible with this camera. But it does come with this cool little tripod thingy. And then the last one, probably my favorite, is the hat clip. I know this is very common in action cameras. But the hat clip, I get the most use out of the hat clip. I recently shot a video reviewing ARTLIST, and in that video, I needed a couple of sort of top-down shots as I was walking. So I just took the hat clip and I stuck the camera, I took the camera like that, and then clipped it onto my hat like so, and just pointed it down. So you have sort of an angle of my hands and what they're doing as I'm walking. Traditionally, you would use this to face forward so you can see where you're going in the video. I didn't need that, I needed the top down. I also get a lot of use out of the medallion feature, namely because the camera is black and a majority of my clothes are black. And so I could just stick it to the medallion like that, and it doesn't really show up. Nobody's really noticing it. It almost looks like it's part of my shirt. Also, a useful tip, you can actually turn off the little light indicator whenever you're recording. So the way it comes out of the box is when you start recording, which I did not mean to do. We're recording now. When you start recording, this little light right here starts flashing red to let you know that you're recording. You can turn that off in the app, and that is extremely useful if you're trying to film something a little more incognito. You want to wear this like a body camera and you don't want to draw attention to a little red flashing light right there. You can just handle it in the app. Also, I just appreciate that Insta360 made it extremely easy to make videos with this. It's very plug and play. There's not a ton of frills. It's just you're right out of the box. It's ready to go. Extremely easy. Almost as easy as improving the quality of your videos with the sponsor of today's video. Motion Array. Motion Array is essentially a one-stop shop video marketplace. That's a good word for it. It is a video marketplace. I don't know if anybody's ever called it that before, but that's what I'm calling it. They have over 7,000 video effects, transitions, plugins, all sorts of various things that are drag and drop, plug and play to step your videos up almost instantly. Plug and play, kind of like the Insta360 Go3. I gotta find somewhere to put that. They have a huge selection of assets and templates that just help increase the overall quality of your videos. For example, if you're going from one scene to another scene and you don't want it to just be a hard cut, you can find some sort of transition to make it a little more smooth. I'm personally a big fan of these. I like using scribbles and lens flares and sprinkle a little sound effect on top of that puppy. Chef's kiss, you guys. Also, I just figured this out not that long ago. They have plugins. So essentially, you go to the website, you download what's called the Motion Array Hub. You download that to your computer, and then from there, you install a plugin, and that just goes straight into your video editing suite, whether you're using Premiere Pro, or you're using After Effects, or Final Cut. Regardless, they've got one for all of them. It just goes straight into your video editing suite. So instead of having to go to the website and pull what you want as far as like transitions and overlays and sound effects and yada yada yada, instead of having to do all that crap, it's literally right there in the video editing suite. You never have to go out of it. There's over 50 plugins that you can use on your video, and they're constantly adding more and updating. Motion Array is a subscription-based service, very similar to Disney Plus or to Netflix. You can either pay monthly, and it's like slightly more, or you can pay annually. You just pay the full amount for that year up front and get it for slightly cheaper. You also get unlimited downloads of everything on Motion Array's platform, and you can use it however you want. There's no licensing fees, nothing weird or hidden or like secret tunnel, gonna stick you for more money like that later on down the road. No, it's all up front. So if you use the link down in the description and you sign up for an annual plan with Motion Array, you get an additional $50 off, which helps lower that price even more. Now, if you're not entirely sure whether or not Motion Array will fit seamlessly into your workflow, you can actually go to their website, create an account, and take a free trial, download some assets, and use them on your videos to figure out whether or not they are or aren't what you're looking for, completely free of charge. Now, this doesn't give you access to everything. It's a very limited quantity of their assets, but it should be enough to give you an understanding of whether or not you do or don't need to implement this into your video editing workflow. I'm gonna help you out really quick. You do. You need it. Look, I can't even think of the words. You do. You freaking need it, okay? One more time, last time, I swear. Click the link in the description, get $50 off of an annual plan with Motion Array. You'll thank me. You really will. Thank you to Motion Array for sponsoring this video and for just making a freaking awesome project. You guys are the best. I'll small feature that Insta360 is considering more and more these days, especially with the new X4 that they just released, they're including lens guards with their cameras, which that's just a very intuitive thing. I tend to be harder on my gear than I would really like to be, so the fact that I can have something like, I don't know if you can, oh, I almost dropped it. You can take a little lens guard like that and screw it on top of the camera. And now if you drop the camera and you scratch it, you just scratch up the lens guard, go on Amazon and buy a 10-pack of these for like little to nothing. You can also buy them on the Insta360 website, but it's probably cheaper on Amazon. Something like that keeps me from having to purchase a new camera if I drop this one and I scratch the lens on it accidentally, which again, it happens. You know, you get moving quick, you get to filming, the camera falls. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but this particular lens filter is actually scratched up because it fell off of my one wheel, which actually, now that we're talking about that, I do not like these. Never have. These little sticky things, especially the ones that come with GoPro, they're even worse. This one is supposed to be reusable. I barely got one use out of it, and in that one use, it dropped my camera off my one wheel and scratched up the lens protector pretty good. Another fun way to use this, and I know I've mentioned this already once, I think I hit record, I do that a lot. That does get on my nerves. The fact that it's so easy, like I like that when you press down on the bottom of it, you can start and stop recording, but I accidentally record so often on this little camera. I digress. This is a paint scraper. Look, check this out. Da, 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 da. I know I've already talked about the fact that it's magnetic, so you can just clip it to anything that's metal, but I get a ton of use out of that particular feature because like I have a light stand right there, I have a mic stand right there. I shoot stuff with my car sometimes, and it makes it extremely useful to just stick it to like the side or the door or whatever. But in the instances that you can't find anything metal to attach it to, gaff tape. I've gaff taped it many times. As you probably know, I really like short commute electric vehicles. I have an electric skateboard right there. I've got a one wheel right there. I've got an electric BMX bike over there. I love stuff like that, and I really like the versatility of something like this. I can take it and just mount it to various places on my little electric vehicles, and I can film stuff, and I can make fun little reels for Instagram or for YouTube or whatever. I'm currently working on a review for the Jackrabbit, the electric BMX bike. I'm getting a ton of use out of this camera for that video because this camera can go places that most cameras can't go. Oh, that's not true. I absolutely could mount my Canon R5 or my R8 or a different camera to a friction arm and then mount that to the bike or to the, and I could make it work. I just don't feel safe doing that because this was $400. That camera was $3,500. I mean, it makes more sense. Just use this camera. No, the image quality out of this camera is not as great as something like a Canon R5, but it's perfectly usable, and I can color grade this camera to match that camera. Most people don't notice the difference. I also really appreciate that the camera itself is waterproof as long as the little lens guard's on. If you take the lens guard off, I'm pretty sure it's not waterproof anymore, so keep that little guy on. But it's just now starting to warm up in Louisiana, and I'm really looking forward to getting out and swimming with this little camera and getting cool footage and making more stupid videos for the internet. Quick note, the action pod, this little guy, this is not waterproof. Do not take this underwater. It will die. You will kill this. Camera, yes. Action pod, no. So that's pretty much it. It's not a super long video. I just wanted to talk about why I think this camera is awesome, why it's one of my favorite things to use right now. It lives in my camera bag. I take this with me everywhere. I charge it regularly so I can always use it. I'm excited about it. I'm interested in this. So I'm curious to know your thoughts. Obviously, Insta360 just put out the X4. Looks amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on one and actually play with it a little bit. But what do you think about the Go3? Again, it's been out for maybe a year, I think, something like that, maybe a little over a year at this point. What do you think? Do you have one? Have you used one? How do you like it? How do you use it? Let me know in the comments. Especially let me know how you use it, because if you guys give me ideas of different and fun and creative and maybe dangerous ways to use this camera, chances are I'll try them, just because, again, that sort of thing's fun to me. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. You're so cool. Seriously. No matter what anybody tells you today, you are really cool. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video, whenever that one is. Okay, I'll see you there. Bye.